Hello, everyone, and a really warm welcome to everyone joining us today for our live student life session. We'll be with you for the next hour to chat through what studying at Glasgow is like from a student perspective. Our lovely panel, who is joining me today, will be covering topics such as clubs and societies, accommodation, and top tips for making the most of your student experience. If you are watching this live on our website, you can also ask us questions through the text chat, and colleagues behind the scenes will do their best to answer those for you. So just to quickly introduce myself, my name's Alice. I work at External Relations at the University of Glasgow, and I'm delighted to be joined by our panel. Gouri, I'm going to come to you first to introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gouri. I'm from India, and I'm completing my master's in media communication and international journalism at the University of Glasgow.
Perfect. Yessi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Yessi and I'm from Indonesia. I have finished my MSc International Comparative Education in the University of Glasgow.
Perfect. Thanks, Yessi. Isabella, would you like to introduce yourself next? Oh, can everyone hear me? Yeah, Isabella, were you able to introduce yourself? Oh, we've just lost Isabella, but we're also joined by Isabella, who is a student of ours here at the university. We'll just go ahead with our first question, and hopefully Isabella can get back online to join us shortly. So at Glasgow, we're really lucky. We have a really diverse student body with international students who join us from all over the world. So I'm going to hand over to the panel. Can you tell us a little bit about what it's like to move to Scotland and Glasgow and what it's like to settle here as well? Gouri, I'm going to come to you first for your thoughts.
Yes. So like I said, I'm originally from India, and I did move around a lot while I was young, but it was my first time in the UK. And I've been here for a year now, and in my personal opinion, Scotland and especially Glasgow is one of the best places to live. Everyone is so warm and welcoming, and if you're planning on moving to the UK, I would definitely recommend Scotland.
Thanks, Gouri. Yessi, I'm going to come to you next for your thoughts of kind of settling into Scotland.
Well, thank you, Alice. To be honest, when I first moved to Glasgow, I was so afraid because I'm from Indonesia, which is very hot and very humid. And then moving to Scotland, I can't really speak, I can't really understand the Glaswegian, so I can't imagine how to be in Scotland. But then I prepare a lot of umbrella and then jacket, and then oh, the weather is one thing, but the other thing that made me shocked is the people in Scotland are very humble. I was once lost and I couldn't find a way back home, but people just helped me and I feel relieved because I chose to study in Scotland, which the people is very humble. Sorry, kind of. Yeah, that's it.
Thanks so much, Yessi. I know it is such a shock when you come somewhere new, especially I think for a lot of international students as well. You know, you are coming from even a different climate. It can be quite different when you first arrive in Scotland. And yeah, it's a little bit colder, but I always think that you get a nice warm welcome when you come to Scotland as well from the people who are here in Scotland. Isabella, I'm not sure, are you able to hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Sorry about that.
No problem, Isabella.
I'm a master's student in media management currently, and before that I did my undergrad here as well. So I've been here for 5 years, but I can just absolutely say the exact same. It was so easy when I came here the first time to find loads of people, and even now in my master's, I obviously had to find new people and new course mates, but everyone here has always been so friendly and welcoming. So I would definitely recommend it, and everyone's always going to be super welcoming here.
Thanks, Isabella. And I think that's great that you've obviously gone through your undergraduate and then you've come back and stayed to do your master's. So obviously you're enjoying Glasgow and Scotland. So that's really fantastic to hear as well, Isabella. So moving on to the next question, I feel like a lot of students will feel quite anxious when you're coming far away from home. So one of the main things is kind of did you feel supported when you arrived here in Scotland and at the University of Glasgow? Gouri, what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, I absolutely did feel really supported. As an international student, I'm on student's visa, and that was new territory to me. That was really unfamiliar and sometimes a bit overwhelming. But the very first week of uni, the visa and immigration compliance team, they actually walked us through it. They explained everything that we were supposed to do, and also especially with reference to the documentation processes, they would tell us what needs to be done, not just in the moment, but also in the future. So that was really helpful. And also the support teams, the international student support team and the student representative council, they've always been just an email or office visit away. So it never felt like I was doing anything by myself. There was always someone to ask for help. And that was genuinely really supportive and helpful, actually.
Thanks, Gouri. And that's really nice to hear, because I think obviously when you're starting somewhere new, yes, there's documentation, there's those things that you need to do just to get your kind of life set up here when you first arrive. Obviously, there's the registration for your classes and the visa registration, like you mentioned. But we do really have like a whole range of support services here at the university to really make sure that you feel supported from the moment that you arrive in Glasgow as well. So hopefully, and I'm glad to hear that you had that experience, Gouri. So you obviously mentioned we do have our international student support team who provide that visa and immigration advice, as well as a really fantastic orientation programme to help you settle in and, importantly, make friends when you arrive here at Glasgow as well. We do also have our disability service and counselling team, who are on hand to help anyone who is looking for a bit more additional support in those areas. And we have our careers service, which is really important for students when they're thinking about those kind of long-term goals, who can help with the advice on finding part-time work, as well as providing tools to help you reach your future career goals once you've finished studying with us as well. We do have our Fraser building on campus, and this is where you'll find our student services inquiry team, who can really help you with a range of inquiries on arrival. And we also have our registration and enrolment support team, who can help you with that enrolment and registration process for your classes and visa and everything like that as well. Also, dependent on your subject, within each subject area, we do have dedicated student support officers who can be your first point of contact for any issues that you might be facing. Or if you'd rather speak to a current student, because sometimes it can feel overwhelming when you first arrive and current students kind of know what the process is and have been through it before. We also have fully trained peer wellbeing support team who are always around to listen and help you signpost to the correct support team of where you need to go. So that's a really good first point of contact as well. We totally understand here at the university that it's so daunting and it can feel very kind of, you might feel anxious when you're arriving. So you may have wobbles, but please be reassured that we have the support teams in place when you need us. We're always here to help you. And I think one of the main things that I always talk about is this is new for everyone as well. There's a lot of people in the same boat as you. So please don't feel afraid to reach out and get the support as you need it as well. So we're going to move on. There are separate accommodation sessions taking place throughout the event today, which is really fantastic. But I think it would be really interesting to hear from a student perspective to find out about your own experiences in securing accommodation here in Glasgow. Can you tell us a little bit about whether you're living in private flats or student halls and what your experience has been like? So Isabella, I'm going to come to you first for this one.
Yes, so I've pretty much been through all of them. So 4 years ago in my first year, I was in private accommodation for my first semester. Then I moved into uni accommodation provided by UofG. And for the past 3 years, I've been in this beautiful flat. So my main advice to anyone is get in there early, because there's a lot of people in Glasgow that are looking for flats. So I think it's always super helpful to honestly look like the moment you can. The uni, I think, has pretty good help available as well. I'm pretty sure, maybe you can say more to this, but there's the accommodation services that I also contacted in my first year, I remember, and they were able to help me out. And if you're looking for private rented flats, I would just really recommend to look as early as possible. There's websites like Rightmove, or you can even go to agencies directly and just, look what's out there. And something I would also recommend is just ask all of your friends. Like sometimes that I've always found really helpful was, putting it on Instagram or seeing other people who have posted about, looking for a flatmate. There's also something called what's it called? Spare Rooms, which is a website I've used a lot, which is basically just people that are looking for flatmates or that are looking for people to share flats with. And that's always a place you can go to find new flatmates. So that's, for example, also how I found some of my flatmates in my current private rented flat.
Thanks, Isabella. And that's some really useful advice. And I think that's it. There's so many different options. So kind of having a look as far as possible in advance so you know what's out there and what you would prefer as well, because everyone's an individual. That's really useful. So thank you for that. Yessi, I'm going to come to you next on your thoughts on accommodation.
Oh, thank you, Alice. Actually, I was looking for the university accommodation at first. However, because I came late, so I didn't get it. And then I live in private accommodation, which I found through Indonesian who study in the UK because they have like a WhatsApp group. And mine was so affordable and close to campus. However, it's kind of cold, so kind of old. So it's like very cold during winter that I needed to pay a little bit more for the heater. But it's very convenient as it's a very close to campus. It's only 20 minutes by walking, and then it's very spacious. But absolutely, if you want like to find better private accommodation, you can try using spare room because I think the accommodation that I previously lived also like promoted in spare room, so you can find it there. And they have a lot of like various range, like with only £400 a month you can have like a really good accommodation in Glasgow. So it's very affordable and it's very friendly, very cozy, Glasgow.
Thanks, Yessi. And yes, obviously, bills are obviously a little bit more expensive when it gets into those colder months as well. So that's a good point to make. And also using those networks that might already be there that you're not aware of. There's lots of things that you can reach out to just for that kind of additional. It's always nice to hear from someone who's maybe already lived in Glasgow and knows the areas and give you advice that way as well. So Gouri, last but not least, what are your thoughts on accommodation?
So while at uni, I actually stayed in a private student accommodation, and I had a really good experience. The student accommodation had all the facilities that you would need and some more. And any sort of maintenance issues would get resolved in a day or two. Security too was not something that you had to be concerned about because there was always a team on the grounds. And if you are looking into private student accommodation, like Isabella said, you have to be a bit more cautious about when you start to look for it because there's a lot of demand. So it would be wise to get on it as soon as possible. And there's a lot of information online. Most of the process is obviously everything is online these days. So if you find a student accommodation provider that you resonate with, you can contact them online to book a viewing or even book a room. So I would definitely recommend that as an option. It's not something to be afraid of because most people do prefer university accommodation. But if by chance you don't end up getting a room there, there's always another option.
Thanks, Gouri. And yeah, as you said, there's so much information online on our accommodation pages if you're looking for that University of Glasgow accommodation. But also our Student Representative Council do really good advice around private accommodation as well. So that's good because you don't always know the market that you're coming into. So it just gives you that kind of peace of mind when you're searching for your options as well. So thank you all. So we actually get a lot of questions around making friends in Glasgow. And I think this is a really important one because obviously you're focused on your studies and a lot of the time that's your main focus when you're applying and you're going through all of those motions and getting your accommodation. But what it's actually like to make friends once you arrive in Glasgow. So Isabella, would you be able to tell us a bit about your own experience of making new friends in Glasgow?
Yes, of course. So the first thing I will say, honestly, do not worry. I've got to know so many different people here at Glasgow, and kind of no matter what their personality type was, everyone's found really, really good friends here. I think that's definitely something you don't have to worry about in Glasgow because everyone is really friendly and is willing to talk to you. Something that really helped me was in my first year, I joined a bunch of societies. So the uni has pretty much a society for anything you can think of, like whatever your interests or hobbies are, there will be people out there who share that, and that's a really good way of making friends because obviously you already share some kind of interests. Also, I would just always recommend going to as many events as you can, especially during the beginning of semester and freshers week. And in January there's always loads of events hosted by again, loads of different societies, but also the unions or the Student Representative Council. So always go to those to make sure to meet as many people as you can. And then my last tip would be, in your courses, honestly, just go up to people, talk to them. That's how I've made like quite a lot of friends. It may be a bit daunting at first, but as I said, everyone's super friendly here. And if you just get over yourself and just speak to people on your courses, I'm very sure it's going to be really easy to get to know loads of people.
Thanks, Isabella. And those are really great tips as well. And yeah, having those kind of clubs and societies where you maybe already have a common area of interest is a really good way to kind of meet people who are very similar to you already with those interests. I just wanted to flag at this time as well that obviously those were brilliant tips, Isabella, about making friends once you arrive in Glasgow. But there is actually opportunity to make friends before you arrive in Glasgow if you're going to come and study with us. So everyone who does receive an offer from us will receive an email invitation to join our official offer holders community. So this is an online forum that allows you to join groups that suit your interests and make friends, and you're able to share tips as well prior to your arrival in Glasgow. So if you are getting an offer from us and holding an offer, please keep your eyes peeled for that email invitation, because it's a really useful one for you to get involved with before you arrive in Glasgow as well. So for those who are tuning in today who have never studied a master's before, would you be able to tell us kind of how many hours of teaching you roughly have a week, kind of what your week might look like in terms of teaching? Yessi, I'm going to come to you for this one.
Well, in each term, I think I have 3 classes to attend because I have 3 courses to attend. So it's only 6 to 8 hours with the seminars on classes. However, they gave us a lot of the reading list. And doing the reading list in the GMS, which is the James McCune Smith Learning Hub with the castle view in campus, was my favorite. So I spent around 6 hours more per day. So in total, it should be around 24 hours on campus. But I think for a week, that's really little because like it's enough for you to study and for you to explore the surrounding of the university. I also did a part-time job with the university, and I also joined like a community. So I think as long as you have like really good time management, you can join the community, you can do your classes, and it's all good.
Thanks, Yessi. And honestly, every time I've spoken to you before, you always make me tired with how much you've got going on. You always fill your time so well. So, Gouri, I'm going to come to you for your experience of a master's and what that kind of week of teaching might look like for you.
So I did my master's in media communications and international journalism, and that comes under the School of Political and Social Sciences. So like every other program, you do have to select a certain number of courses. You have to complete a certain number of courses to fulfill the credits. So I had to do 6 courses over 2 semesters, and you get to choose which course you want and when you want to do them across the 2 semester. And I spread them evenly. So I had 3 courses in each semester, and each course had 1 hour of lecture and 1 hour of seminar per week. So that would be 6 hours each week, but you also have to engage in independent study. So I would say it was 9 to 10 hours every week, which was very doable and very flexible as well.
Thanks, Gouri. And sticking on the theme of kind of managing your time and what else you might do out with those studies as well. Obviously, a lot of students might be thinking about working part-time during their masters. So how feasible is it to work part-time during your masters? And would you be able to tell us, Gouri, a little bit about your own experience of working during your studies as well?
Yes. So while I was at uni, I worked 20 hours per week part-time, and that was really flexible. I was never stressed. I was never overstretched or anything like that. Since your master's schedule is quite flexible, I could always choose to work on the days that I did not have a lecture or seminar. And on the rare occasion that they do fall on the same days, I could always reach out to my course administrator and ask to be put in a different seminar group. So I never had to choose between work and studies. So if you are looking to work part-time, definitely go for it. It's not something to be stressed about. Most organizations and companies now have their hiring processes online. So you just have to go to the website and apply for the position you want. But if you're looking for something more chill with like less commitment, you can always go to the shops in your neighborhood and hand out your CV. And that also works most of the times. So yeah.
Thanks so much. And yeah, you're right. There's so many different opportunities. So there's lots of different avenues that you can go down to kind of search for those opportunities as well, including like our career service if you want to go down that route, or you can use the tools that they offer as well if you need any support with that as well. So we'll just move on to our next question, which is around scholarships, which is a really kind of important one for students who might be tuning in today. So did any of you receive a scholarship? And if you did, would you mind talking us through the process of securing a scholarship? Yessi, I believe you have had a scholarship when you were here at the University of Glasgow, so I'm going to put you on the spot for this one.
Well, I'm just about to raise my hand. Yeah. Thank you, Alice. Like for this master degree, I used a scholarship from the government of Indonesia, which called LPDP scholarship. Just like another scholarship scheme, like I need to write self-evaluation, a paper why they should choose me for the scholarship, and of course the letter of acceptance from the university. It helps me a lot because like if you have the letter of acceptance from the university, it might enlarge your opportunity to receive a scholarship, and of course the IELTS certificate. I think I was studying about 6 months only to get the IELTS certificate needed for the University of Glasgow and also for the scholarship, because like IELTS is very crucial for UK university. Hence, like yeah, like IELTS, and then like I could say that if you have an LOA from University of Glasgow, it will help you a lot with scholarship, whether it's from the government, like your own government, or another scholarship. Because like I also try to apply to other scholarship like Chevening and also like the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. I think if you have the LOA, it will help you a lot. Well, I think that's all.
Thanks, Yessie. And yeah, it's one of those, it is a process of getting a scholarship as well. So there's lots of parts for doing that. So thank you to telling us about your experience. And I think one of the main things for people who are maybe watching today who are not sure where to start with scholarships, we do have a scholarships database, which is on the screen at the moment. And that's a really useful tool. So you can search by your nationality and which programme that you want to study, and obviously that you're postgraduate taught, that you want to do a master's. And it'll pull through all of the scholarships that we have both at the University of Glasgow, but some of those external scholarships, so like Chevening that Yessi mentioned as well, are all listed there. So you can have a look at eligibility and what is involved in those scholarships and applications as well. So that's a really good starting point for everyone. So there's a lot of people who are maybe tuning in today who maybe haven't been to Scotland, or maybe not even the UK, and maybe definitely not Glasgow if they've not been to Scotland before. So one of the things is what to expect from the campus. So the University of Glasgow campus, we're very lucky, it's a very beautiful campus. So what is the main campus like, and where are the best places for you to hang out as a student in your opinion, Yessi? Where are the best places on campus?
Oh, I don't know whether my best place is like the best of the best or not, but please. Well, I think like the University of Glasgow is like magic. Actually, I really like the castle vibes. Like during dissertation season, I usually stay up late in the library. Like the University of Glasgow library open until 2 a.m. in the morning. So I usually came back around 1 a.m. And once like you got out from the library, you can see the tower. So magical. And even though your dissertation is hard, but only looking at the tower, it will make you feel relief. So if you ask me about best place, I could say that go to main building and go to the left wing. You will find a small chair under the tree, and you can enjoy the wine there. But I think don't spend too much time because it will make you sick. So at maximum 30 minutes, it will vary it because it will get colder afterwards. Like, or if you want to see the tower, better you choose the sixth floor of the library, which is a quiet room. You can read a lot there, and you can meet a lot of people there, and also the James McKean Smith Learning Hub 7th floor. And if you keen of Asian food, you should go like around the Partik, and you can buy Haiti and also bibimbap. I think that's for food. And I think I need to add one more place, which is the University Cafe, because you can find a really good ice cream there, and I really like it, the vanilla one, and it's very crowded usually. Well, that's it. I hope it's the best one.
Thanks, Yessi. And I'm always glad to hear food recommendations as well. I haven't tried the ice cream in University Cafe, so I'll have to go there. And I've not been to the 6th floor of the library. I never seem to get past. I'm a staff member, so I don't often go into the library. So I'll go and have a look at the view of the tower from there as well. So it's useful for me as well as the students on the call as well. So in terms of like sticking on kind of the theme of like kind of campus and what to do outside of just your studies, are postgraduates able to join clubs and societies? And which clubs and societies would you recommend for students who are tuning in today? Gouri, I'm going to come to you first for your recommendations.
If you're a postgraduate student, you could absolutely join clubs and societies. There are no restrictions as such. And if I had to pick one, that's really hard because, like Isabella said, there's so many clubs and societies. But if I had to, I would pick the Shakespeare Society because there's always something interesting going on with that society. Their events are just very interesting, very original, and you'll always have a good time. So my recommendation would be the Shakespeare Society.
Thanks, Gouri. Is it kind of like sometimes it's plays? I'm assuming maybe in the
Yes.
Shakespeare Society.
But with
That's fantastic.
Twist to it, so you would have fun.
Always something different that they'll do. Oh, that's perfect. That's a really good recommendation. That's a nice one to hear. Isabella, do you have any recommendations of clubs and societies for our students?
Yes. So yeah, I completely agree with you. Of course, I think a lot of master students sometimes are a bit scared of the fact that, of course, a lot of the societies have a lot of undergrad students, but a lot of them are older as well. And I've like never had an issue like across all age groups. Even last year when I was in 4th year, there's always freshers that are super loving and nice. So I've been in quite a few societies. I did the dancing society my entire way through uni. I did tennis, I've been in ski, I also did the musical theatre society. So I don't really know which one. I mean, probably dance was the one I was most involved in, which is a really big community of dancers. So I can definitely recommend that if you're into dance. But honestly, I would just recommend whatever is either a passion you already have and follow, or something that you've maybe always wanted to try but never got the chance to try. I mean, there's so many sports as well that you could try out here, even if it's something that maybe in the country you're from isn't very common or just isn't something you've managed to try out yet. Definitely make use of your time here, and you could even try multiple, if there's to find whatever suits you best. So I say definitely go for it, even if you might think, ooh, there might not be master students, but there definitely will be, and there'll be people that you'll get along with.
Thanks, Isabella. Sorry, I think you were breaking up. I don't know if it was just for me. You're breaking up a little bit, but I picked up tennis, musical theatre, lots of different options, but also not to be scared if you're a postgraduate student, because although there's undergraduate students there's a lot of kind of different options and everyone can join these clubs and societies, which is really fantastic. I think that's the main thing is like we have over 300 clubs and societies for you to join. If there's something out of those over 300 that you don't really see yourself fitting in with, you can also start your own club and society, and then there'll be other people who have the same interests as you as well. So that's also an option. If you are looking at that massive list and you can't find anything that suits you, there's always the option to go out and create your own club or society as well. So in terms of, we kind of covered kind of campus and what we might do kind of around the University of Glasgow, but I suppose the wider city of Glasgow, because that's where you're going to be living when you're coming to study a master's with us for 1 year. So what is the city of Glasgow like? Is it a student-friendly city? How do you find it? How did you find Glasgow in total when you were coming as a student? So Yessi, let's get your thoughts on Glasgow. Oh, you're just on mute there. Yeah, that's it.
Sorry.
It's easy to do.
I'm very, I really like Glasgow because like absolutely Glasgow is very friendly and you can find a various kinds of affordable food. And whenever you're bored, you can just go to the city center and you can enjoy the bagpipe player, you can enjoy someone dancing. And then like during Christmas, it would be like a very full of people and you can try buy like a drink called mutton, and then like in every season they will change. But but don't forget to go to Calvin Grove Park, because like it's so beautiful. Like you can go running over there. I was once like a shattered there because I'm waiting for my grades from the uni, and then a lot of people just like talk with everybody, and then you can sit on the chair in the Calvin Grove Park looking at the university, and then you can also go to churches in Glasgow because I go to churches and they are like a very welcome to student. I went to the Tron Church and they have like a student welcome lunch, and then they asked me to go to retreat with them, and it's free. They are very welcome to students. So I know like a Scottish family, and then I know like an Irish family, and then I go to Cayley dance. So it's like in Glasgow you will never be bored. Just believe me.
Thanks, Yessi. I like that as well. You'll never be bored in Glasgow. And you've got some serious Scottish culture in with bagpipes and Cayley dancing as well. So you're seeing the full experience when you're here in Glasgow. Isabella, I'm going to come to you for your thoughts on Glasgow, how you find it. Is it student friendly?
Yes, so I hope you can hear me better now. But
Yes.
I completely agree with you, Jessie. Something I will say is that I've always felt super safe in Glasgow. Especially, in the winter, it does get dark a bit earlier here. It gets dark, sometimes even like 4 p.m. it will already be dark. But I've always felt very safe here because everyone's just so friendly. And especially in the West End around campus, it's just majority of people here are students. So that's definitely something that has been really good. Also, as you just said, you'll never be bored here. I think something that Glasgow has to offer, especially, is like in the art sector, there are just so many things you can get involved in, and especially like a lot of gigs you can go to. That's, for example, something that I do quite a lot. So there's always an event for you, whatever your interests are. But I'd say especially like sort of the arts and performing sector, there's always something you can go and watch. And as Jessie just said, you can always go into the city centre. Like on the subway, it takes 10 minutes to get into the city centre. And even if I walk from the West End, it takes about 20 minutes. So there's always something to do no matter what time of year it is. And that's something I really like about studying here.
Thanks, Isabella. And yeah, I think the live music scene in Glasgow is really fantastic and kind of world renowned. We're a UNESCO city of music. So the music scene is really fantastic when you come to Glasgow. And yes, lots of different areas to explore. The West End is fantastic, but you can get into the city centre, go to the south side, experience a lot of what the city has to offer. And it's never too far either, I always say. It is easy for you to kind of explore the city of Glasgow when you're here. But in terms of exploring, maybe on like a slightly bigger scale than just Glasgow, I suppose, obviously we're in the country of Scotland. So what about the rest of Scotland? Have you travelled and explored much of the country since you first arrived when you came to study at Glasgow? Gouri, I'm going to come to you for this question.
Yes, actually, I've been fortunate enough to see the different sides of Scotland. I've been to Edinburgh, I've been to Stirling, I've been to Aberdeen. A couple of weeks ago, a couple of my friends and I, we went to Fort William. We went to trek Ben Nevis, which was very ambitious of us, but we tried. And we do have plans to go see a couple more places in Scotland before the end of the year, and hopefully that pans out. But yes, it's also really easy to travel in Scotland. I would say you could get a rail card. If you have a bus pass, if you're under 22 or at the age of 22, the bus travel is free. So I would definitely suggest exploring places while you have the time.
Thanks, Gouri. And you've been to more places than me. I've never done Ben Nevis, and I've been here my whole life. I've never managed to do it yet, so well done to you. And I think that's really good tips in terms of the rail card, and if you're under the age of 22 or the age of 22, you can get that free bus travel. There's affordable ways for you to go and experience Scotland, experience Glasgow. There are ways, especially as a student with like a student discount card, where you can go and do things a little bit more cheaply, which is obviously very important for students. Kind of moving on in terms of like kind of that cost of living kind of piece, the cost of living crisis can be a really stressful time for students. And Isabella, I'm going to come to you for this one. And there's maybe a couple, you might have already had the rail card ready for that one, but do you have any money saving tips for new students when they're coming to Glasgow?
Yes, so I was going to talk about the bus pass and the rail card, which is definitely, very, very good way to save on traveling. But of course, there's loads of other ways you can save on as well. If you come to Glasgow as a student, you're obviously going to have student ID and you're going to be a student, and that's something I would definitely use. Pretty much almost every shop and a lot of restaurants do student discounts, even if they don't advertise for it. My biggest tip would be always ask, and even if they don't, then you asked anyway. So I'd always ask if the place you're at does a student discount. Something that I found really useful is also some apps that do student discounts. So the biggest ones that I know are Uni Days or Student Beans. They always have loads of offers going for restaurants, sometimes even delivery services, even something like supermarkets you can sometimes get discounts at, or just general shops and restaurants. So definitely check that out. And aside from that, something I can also recommend is the campus has quite a lot of canteens, or like places you can get food at, which are a little bit cheaper. So for example, the JMS and the Glasgow University Union, and then all of the cafes as well around campus, they do food which is a little bit cheaper than maybe if you went to a restaurant or somewhere else, which can definitely help if you're like in stressful uni life and need somewhere to get some quick food. But yeah, as I said, my biggest tip would be to download student discount apps like Uni Days or Student Beans, and just always keep an eye on sort of the discounts you can get.
Perfect, thank you, Isabella. And I think having those apps like Uni Days and Student Beans, where everything's kind of all in one place, is really useful, because sometimes it can pass you by. But like you said, there's no harm in asking. You can just always ask. There's, it is a student city, Glasgow. There are other universities as well as the University of Glasgow. So you'll find a large student population in the city of Glasgow. So there are lots of opportunities in terms of those student discounts in shops, restaurants and cafes and places like that. So hopefully that can help in terms of cost of living when you're coming to us as well. So what I'm going to do is going to come round to each of the panel, and I'm going to ask you for your top tips for students who might be joining us next year. What would your top tips be when you are joining the University of Glasgow? Isabella, I'm going to come to you first for this one, not giving you rest quite yet.
Okay. My top tip would just be to put yourself out there and talk to people. Even if it's scary, talk to people, join societies, make sure to just meet as many people as you can, because you're only a student once. You gotta make sure to meet as many people as you can, and there's, as we said, such a diverse student body here as well. You're always going to meet interesting people, and it's going to make your time here so much better. So put yourself out there, even if it's scary, and speak to as many people as you can.
Oh, sorry, Isabella, you just froze for a minute there. But I think from what I could hear, you were saying to speak to as many people as possible and kind of make friends. As you were saying earlier as well, Glasgow's a very open and kind of warm place. So kind of making those connections, and don't be scared to do so. I know it can be really daunting, but that's a really good point for our students, and a really great tip. Yessi, I'm going to come to you next for your top tips for students.
Well, I couldn't agree more with Isabella, because I also want to say that you should talk with people, because like if you keep silent, you will not feel the warmth of the Glasgow. But if you talk with people, you will feel warm, even though the weather is really special, And like I think one thing to add it is like enjoy the weather. It might be too cold, but if you can cope with that, you will see the beauty around it. So like bring jacket, bring umbrella, just bring everything in a backpack, and it's really cool. Yeah, talk with people and you will enjoy Glasgow.
That's brilliant. I like that the theme of chatting to people and the friendliness of people here is coming through. Gouri, I'm going to come to you for your tips for students.
I think my number one tip would just be to be optimistic and open-minded. It can be scary at first because it's a completely new environment. But like I said before, you never feel like you're doing it by yourself. There's so many people to help you. Everyone wants to be your friend. I know sometimes your mind can be very cruel, and you'll be afraid to put yourself out there. But everyone is looking for connection, and you really do find your group of people here. And it's one of the best places to be. So just have fun.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, it's so nice to hear. I love hearing the student perspective of like their top tips of coming to Glasgow. And Gouri, I'm going to stick with you. I'm not going to let you go quite yet. I think another thing that students always worry about is maybe what to bring with them when they're coming to Glasgow. Yeah. So I'm going to narrow it down for you. What 3 things should new students bring in their suitcase when coming to Glasgow?
Okay. I think number one, get a travel adapter, because if you're not from the UK, chances are the pins at the end of your electrical appliance might not be compatible with the sockets here. So get travel adapters. Second thing, invest in some really good winter wear, because that jumper will really help come winter when you're freezing. Third thing, proper shoes, because there's a lot of walking around in campus that you would have to do, especially if your classes are in different buildings. So some good shoes, they can be really helpful. Yes.
Thank you. And yes, very, very practical ones for sure. And I've been there before when I've gone abroad and I've forgotten my travel adapter. And yes, there are ways to get it if you're already here. So don't panic if you accidentally forget it. But it helps you a lot when you're trying to charge your phone after that long flight, for example. Just have that ready and ready to go in terms of charging as well. So we're kind of moving on to like one of our final kind of questions. So what is the best part of being a student at the University of Glasgow? That's quite a big question, but Yessi, I'm going to come to you to see if you can answer that question for us.
Well, thank you, Alice. Like, besides, like, you have really good library, you have really good lecture there. I could say that it might be silly, but it's very crucial and very important for me. But it's free food. In University of Glasgow, they will surely have a lot of free food because, like, I study under the School of Education. They really have like a pizza, sandwiches, coffee, chocolate every week, and they they send us email through the University of Glasgow email. So every week I always receive like flyer, and they say that you can come to reduce your stress, not only under the School of Education, but I think every school in University of Glasgow they provide it. So even though you might think that, oh, it's really hard to do dissertation, or it's really hard to study in other language, like in English, it's not my first language, but with the food, and also food prepared by the university every time, and then you will feel welcome because it can help you cope with the situation. And I think with food you can find a comfort. Well, that's it, Alice.
Absolutely. Food is always comforting and always a big help when you're studying hard. And then you get that email, Yessi, and that is a really nice one. I really, really like that one. Keep you fueled as you're studying here at the University of Glasgow. So unfortunately, everyone, this is all we have time for today. So thank you so much for tuning in today and joining me and our wonderful panel. For those who are watching live, remember there are still some more sessions which are running today as part of our postgraduate online events. So lots of other events that are going on today. So please head over to our website for those links so you can find out more about other areas that we have on offer at the university. If you do have any further questions, you can chat to a current student through our Ask a Student service as well. So although we've had some brilliant ideas from the students on the call today, you know that you can get in touch with students at other points throughout your journey as well. And to find out more about student life, check out our Get to Know Glasgow podcast, which features current Glasgow students, which you can find on all major podcast providers. So podcasts are obviously a big thing, and it's a really nice way to kind of listen to our current students and hear from them as well. We also have a fantastic selection of student vlogs and blogs on all aspects of student life, and on topics such as day trips in Scotland, it's finding accommodation, and that cost of living piece as well. So please make sure that you're checking out all of this information. So thank you again for watching, and I hope to welcome you to Team UofG in the not too distant future. Thank you, everyone. Bye now.